You're giving him my car? My voice came out flat, cold. Dad dangled the keys in front of Dylan, smirking. Family helps family, Casey. Your brother needed it. Don't look at me like that. You're married now, aren't you? Let your husband drive you. Dylan's laughter was careless as he caught the keys, tossing them in the air, already showing off in front of the cousins crowded around the kitchen island. Before we begin, drop a comment and tell us where are you from and from which city you're watching our videos. And after watching the whole video, don't forget to tell us, what would you do in this situation? Be honest. Tell me in the comments below. We read every comment. Let's begin. I could feel everyone's eyes on me. My mother's tight, guilty smile, my aunt's quick glance away, even Dylan's girlfriend awkwardly pretending to scroll her phone. It was humiliating. 5 years of saving, every late shift and canceled plan, and it was gone in a moment because my father decided my brother needed it more. Alex was leaning against the doorframe, silent, arms folded. His face was hard and still. When I turned, he met my gaze. No pity. Just that silent message we always shared when things got ugly at family gatherings. I've got you. Dad's voice boomed across the kitchen. Well, are you going to congratulate your brother or just stand there sulking? He actually looked proud of himself. I kept my hands at my sides, refusing to let them see they were shaking. Dylan grinned at me, dangling the keys. You can take a ride if you ask nicely, sis. The room filled with cheap laughter. My jaw locked. I stared straight at my father. I hope you enjoy the car, Dylan, I said, even in quiet, then turned to Alex and reached for his hand. His grip was fierce, steadying. Alex stepped forward, calm but ice cold. You know that was Casey's money, right? Her name was on the account. Dad didn't flinch. My house, my rules. You want something done different? Maybe you should learn to keep your money somewhere else, or maybe just earn more. He looked Alex up and down, clearly itching for a fight. We'll see who's laughing tomorrow, Alex said, his voice low enough that only the family could hear, but sharp enough to cut through the noise. Mom's face went pale. For a second, nobody moved. I turned, pushing past Dylan and the rest, feeling the burn of shame across my cheeks, but refusing to let a single tear fall in front of them. Out in the hallway, I could hear them start up again. Dylan cracking open a beer, Dad already bragging about teaching responsibility, the cousins whispering. My mother's footsteps followed, her voice dropping. Casey, he didn't mean... I stopped her. I don't want to hear it. Not tonight. She opened her mouth, closed it, then retreated back into the kitchen. Alex was already on his phone by the time I made it to the car, his old, beat-up sedan, the one he'd bought off Craigslist in college. We're not letting them walk all over you. Not now, not ever. He spoke quietly, but every word felt like a promise. Trust me, by morning this will be different. I didn't know what he meant, and honestly, I didn't care. I just wanted to disappear, or scream, or both. Instead, I drove home in silence, hands clenched around the wheel, every mile between me and that house making my anger grow sharper. Back at our place, Alex paced the living room, phone glued to his ear, making calls, jotting down notes, talking to people I'd never heard of. I tried to sleep, but my mind kept replaying every word, every sneer, every laugh. The humiliation was radioactive. He came to bed just before dawn. You'll want to be awake early, was all he said, and kissed my forehead. I barely slept at all. By sunrise, the world outside was strangely still, the air tense and waiting. I watched Alex get dressed, moving with a kind of determination that made me nervous. Get ready, he said. This is the last day they ever think they can treat you like this. I glanced at my phone, group chat blowing up with photos of Dylan posing by his new car. Dad's text sat unread. I hope you've learned something about real family. My reply would have to wait, because by the time the sun was fully up, Alex was already ushering me out the door, and what happened next would flip everything upside down. We pulled up to my parents' house just after 7. The street was quiet except for my brother's new car gleaming in the driveway, already drawing glances from the neighbors out walking their dogs. Alex killed the engine and looked at me, his eyes steady. Stay with me. No matter what happens, you let me handle it. I nodded, nerves twisted tight. My mother was on the porch in her robe, coffee mug in hand, lips pressed thin. She didn't wave. Inside, voices were already rising. Dad was on the phone, bragging to someone about how he sorted out Casey's priorities. while Dylan shouted for someone to check out his car's new sound system. As soon as we stepped in, the room went quiet. Dad looked up, phone still to his ear, and sneered. "Oh, the prodigal daughter returns. Come to see your generous donation on the road?" Alex didn't flinch. "Call everyone into the living room." He sounded calm, but there was steel behind it. "Now." Something in his tone made even my father obey. Dylan swaggered in, tossing the keys from hand to hand, his girlfriend at his heels. My aunt and cousins shuffled over, eyes flickering with confusion. Mom hovered by the door, arms crossed tight. Alex stood in front of them all, his hands in his pockets. "Let's make something clear. Casey worked for that money. It was her savings. What you did yesterday wasn't just cruel. It was illegal." The room bristled. Dad scoffed. "You're threatening your own family over a car?" Alex held up a folder I hadn't seen before. "Here's the bank statement. Casey's name is the only one on that account. The money was transferred without her consent by someone who isn't the account holder. That's fraud." Dylan's mouth hung open. Dad's face darkened. "You wouldn't dare. This is family business." Alex's voice was ice. "You want to test that? I already spoke to the bank. I spoke to a lawyer. I even filed a police report this morning. If the money isn't returned by noon, and the car's back where it belongs, they'll be coming here. Today." The silence was suffocating. Even Mom's face went white. My aunt muttered, "Is he serious?" Dylan fumbled for his phone, suddenly pale. Dad's mask cracked for just a moment, and in that silence, I finally saw fear in his eyes. Alex turned to me. "This is your call, Casey. If you want to drop it, say the word. But if you want to see this through, I'm with you." Every step, everyone stared at me. Every eye, every ounce of judgment. I felt anger twist and curl, finally boiling over. "No," I said, voice shaking with adrenaline. "I'm not letting this go, not this time. I'm done being the one who just takes it." Dad's voice broke, desperate now. "Casey, this is just a misunderstanding. Your brother needed help. Don't make this bigger than it is." I didn't answer. Alex put an arm around me. "You heard her. Noon, or the cops show up." We turned and left, slamming the door behind us. Outside, the neighbors had started gathering, peeking over hedges and from behind cars, drawn by the shouting and the tension thick in the air. By the time we reached our car, my phone buzzed. Calls from Mom, texts from Dylan, even a half-baked apology from Dad. But it wasn't over. Not yet. We drove back to our apartment, the city rolling by in a blur of brick storefronts and morning haze. I stared out the window, numb, watching the world go on as if nothing had changed, while inside me, everything felt like it was burning. Alex squeezed my hand every so often, checking that I was still with him. I'd never seen him like that before, so cold, so unshakable. My heart felt heavy and light at the same time. For years, I'd let my father decide what I deserved. For years, I'd let everyone laugh, let it all slide. Not today. The phone wouldn't stop ringing. My mother called 5 times, then left a message in a trembling voice. "Casey, please, let's talk about this as a family. You're overreacting." Dylan's texts were a blur of swearing, blaming me for ruining his one good thing, accusing me of being selfish. Even my aunt, who always claimed to understand me, texted, "Please, sweetheart, think about how this looks to everyone. He's your brother. Your father's not a bad man." The whole family, it seemed, was more worried about how things looked than what was right. Alex set down his coffee, anger flashing in his eyes. "They only care about their comfort, not about you. That's going to change." He was already on the phone with the lawyer again, making sure the paperwork was in order, reviewing every detail of the police report. I heard him say, "We have evidence, timeline, account records, everything. She's pressing charges if it comes to that." It all felt surreal. Part of me wanted to back down, crawl back into the shell of old habits, call it off before it went too far, but the memory of Dad's smirk, Dylan's laughter, my mother's empty apologies, they lit something in me that wouldn't go out. By 10, the messages shifted from guilt to threats. Dad texted, "If you bring the police here, don't bother coming home again." Dylan, "You're dead to me, Casey." Even Mom, "Don't do this to your father. He's only ever wanted what's best for you." Alex saw my face and shook his head. "This is what abusers do. They make you feel responsible for their choices. Not this time. You're not alone." We sat together on the couch, tension filling the air, minutes dragging by, every tick of the clock louder than the last. My whole body was buzzing, like every nerve ending was raw. I kept reading the same texts over and over, memorizing their words, burning them into me. At 11, the lawyer called. "They're stalling," she said. "Your father keeps saying he needs more time." I told him you have all the evidence. If the car isn't returned by noon and the money's not wired back, the report goes straight to the police chief. I suggest you prepare for fireworks. Alex grinned, and for the first time all day, I laughed. A sharp, angry, exhilarating sound. I hadn't felt that alive in years. At 11:40, Mom called again. This time, her voice was shaky, desperate. "Casey, your father's furious. Dylan's refusing to give the car back. Can't you just let this go? He says if you do this, the whole neighborhood will know. Your father could lose his job. Please, think of the family." I almost hung up, but something in me snapped. He should have thought of the family before he stole from me. "Mom, I'm not a doormat, not anymore." She burst into tears, sobbing into the phone. "You've always been so stubborn, Casey. Why can't you just forgive and move on? Don't make us choose between you and your brother." That line hit me like a punch in the gut. I stood up, walked to the window, stared down at the street below. "You already did, Mom. You chose a long time ago. Now it's my turn?" She kept crying, begging me to change my mind, but I ended the call. Alex looked at me, proud and sad all at once. "That was the hardest part. Now you just hold the line." Noon crept closer, the world outside growing brighter, hotter. I heard sirens in the distance, dogs barking, a car backfiring. Every sound made my heart jump. At 11:57, my phone vibrated. One last message from Dad. "If you do this, you're not my daughter anymore. Don't come back." My hands shook, but I didn't reply. I handed my phone to Alex. "I'm ready." He nodded and made the call. "This is Alex Marston. We'd like to proceed." Within minutes, everything that had been buried in our family for years was about to come to light. We didn't have to wait long. 20 minutes after Alex made the call, my phone buzzed again, this time from a number I didn't recognize. "Ms. Casey Everett, this is Officer Ramirez. We'd like you to meet us at your parents' address." My stomach flipped. Alex squeezed my shoulder. "Let's go." The drive felt unreal, like every mile was a countdown to something we couldn't turn back from. When we pulled up, I could already see the flashing lights. One squad car, parked just past Dylan's new ride. Two uniformed officers stood on the lawn, notepad in hand, talking to my mother, who looked like she'd aged 10 years overnight. Neighbors were everywhere, leaning on porches, standing on sidewalks, pretending to water lawns while they stared. My father's voice carried all the way to the street. "This is a family matter. There's no need for police. She's just being dramatic." Alex put a hand on my back, steady as a rock. We walked up together. Officer Ramirez turned to me. "Are you Ms. Everett?" I nodded, trying to keep my hands from shaking. "I need you to confirm the account details and the car. Do you have your ID?" I handed it over. She checked everything, glancing between me and my parents, then turned to Dylan. "Sir, you're currently in possession of a vehicle purchased with funds belonging to your sister. We need the keys." Dylan went pale. "You're kidding. She's really doing this? Over a stupid car?" Dad stepped forward, red-faced and breathing hard. "We're not criminals. I've paid for everything in this house since the day she was born. She owes us." Ramirez's partner, a younger officer, kept his voice low. "Sir, if you do not comply, this becomes a criminal investigation. We have bank statements, text evidence, and a report filed by your daughter. Your employer will be notified as required." That shut him up. I caught a glimpse of my aunt peering out the window, her mouth hanging open. The rest of the family gathered on the lawn, huddled behind my mother as if that would protect them from reality. Dylan finally dropped the keys into Ramirez's hand. "Whatever, take it. Hope you're happy, Casey." I didn't say a word. My father glared at me, hatred plain in his eyes. "I hope you're proud of yourself. You humiliated us. You're not welcome here." Something inside me cracked open, but it wasn't pain anymore. It was relief. Alex squeezed my hand and stepped forward. "You did this to yourselves. Maybe next time you'll think before you treat someone like garbage." The officers handed me the keys, then explained, in front of everyone, how the restitution would work. Dylan would have to pay back the money from his own account, or my father would face charges. Mom was sobbing, but no one tried to comfort her. They were all too busy trying to figure out what would happen to them next. I walked to the car, every neighbor watching. My hands shook, but I unlocked the door, sat behind the wheel, and let myself breathe for the first time in days. Alex slid into the passenger seat. "You did it," he whispered. "You stood up to all of them." Dad shouted after us, "Don't ever come back! You're dead to me!" I turned the key and drove away, every eye on me, my mother's wails echoing behind us. But I didn't look back. At the stop sign, I finally let myself cry, not from shame, but from the weight lifting off my chest. Alex reached over, wiping tears from my cheek. "You're free now, Casey. Really free." We drove home in silence, hands clasped tight. And as the city opened up before us, I realized that the life I'd been holding onto, desperate for scraps of love from people who never gave it, was gone. In its place, something new was beginning, something fierce and unbreakable. The story exploded in our little town. By afternoon, it seemed like everyone knew what had happened. Neighbors, coworkers, even distant relatives started calling and messaging, some with gossip, others with genuine shock. My phone filled with a strange mix of support and judgment. A few friends texted, "Proud of you for standing up for yourself." Others just sent a single line, "Family's family, case." I deleted those. That night, I sat with Alex on the living room floor, surrounded by the quiet hum of our apartment, the silence broken only by the occasional ping of my phone. We watched the headlights moving on the street outside, each one a reminder that life goes on. Alex poured 2 glasses of wine and handed one to me. "So, how does it feel?" he asked, his voice gentle, searching my face. I tried to answer honestly, even as my heart trembled. "I don't know. Like I'm floating. Like maybe for the first time, I'm actually living for myself." I looked at him, tears burning my eyes again, not from pain, but from something like relief, maybe even hope. "I'm scared, Alex. What if I never get them back? What if I just end up alone?" He took my hands, grounding me. "You stood up for yourself, Casey. You showed them who you are. That's not something that leaves you alone. That's the kind of thing that changes everything." A few days passed, the silence from my family growing heavier, then lighter, then finally almost peaceful. I started walking to work again, old routines feeling new, each step lighter than the last. Dylan texted once, a single bitter line, "Hope you're happy. You ruined everything." I left it unread. Mom called twice, voice softer now. No more pleading, just, "I hope you're okay." I listened, then deleted the messages. I didn't need closure. From people who only ever wanted silence. The world didn't fall apart. I didn't collapse. In fact, something strange happened. I started to breathe easier. At work, I felt sharper, more respected. The fear that used to hang over me every time I opened a text from home, gone. The empty space left behind wasn't loneliness. It was room to grow. Alex was my anchor, never once questioning if I'd done the right thing. We celebrated quietly, just the two of us. Sometimes we laughed about the whole thing, the absurdity of adults behaving like children, the way people cared more about appearances than love. Mostly, though, we just moved forward. One evening, as the sun set pink behind the city skyline, Alex handed me a small envelope. "Open it." Inside was a set of keys, a new car, bought together, this time in my name alone, no one else's. "It's not just about the car," he said. "It's about you owning your life. All of it." I hugged him hard, grateful and overwhelmed. I knew there'd always be scars from what my family did, but they didn't define me anymore. Weeks later, I saw my father at the grocery store. He walked by, eyes averted, pretending not to notice me. I didn't stop him. I didn't need to. As I left, I caught a glimpse of myself in the glass, standing tall, unashamed, stronger than I'd ever been. That was the real victory. Not the car, not the money. But the moment I realized I'd finally chosen myself, and I'd never let anyone take that away again. Alex squeezed my hand as we walked to our car, my car, and for the first time, I believed I deserved every bit of the life I was building. The sun was setting, painting everything gold, and for the first time in forever, I was truly free.